analyst course, right? So we will see the course curriculum. So then we will move on to the topics that we are going to deliver, right? So yesterday we discussed about the course content and all, right? In a briefer way. But now we will see like what we are going to cover in this particular data analyst course. So we will start with the Power BI. So as I told you, right? So we are going to cover Power BI for 25 to 30 hours, right? So in this particular Power BI, so we are going to start with the Power BI from scratch, where we are going to identify the different sources and connecting the data to from the different sources and try to get the data from the different sources and working with the storage modes and as well as the connectivity modes. So we will cover all these things, how to get the data, and then we will work on the profiling and cleaning the data. So once we got the data, right, so we need to clean the data. So that's what we are going to do once we load the data into the Power BI. And then we have designing a data model. So this is also one of the crucial step in Power BI, which we are going to discuss. So we are not only covering the technical aspects of our contents, right? So we are also going to see or the real-time scenarios, like what is the use cases, what are the different requirements, and what you are expected to do when you join into the organization, right? So this is what we are going to cover in the sessions, right? So this is not only a theoretical session or not only a demonstration session. So we will discuss the scenarios which are related to the industry as well. So in modeling, especially most of the interview questions, most of the interviewers will concentrate on the data modeling and all. So we will discuss this in a real-time oriented way. And so what are the requirements to be done in the project as well. So we will discuss all those things. So once we cover with like we will go with the DAX. So DAX is also very, very important for Power BI, as I told you yesterday. So we will cover the DAX and we will try to see different types of DAX functions and so what are the different operators are there, different functions are there. So what are the different ways to create a DAX functions, right? So we will cover the DAX and then we will create reports and dashboards from the scratch. So after that, like we are going to manage our data assets within the service as well. So managing the data assets is nothing but we are going to work on the Power BI service to enhance the collaboration and as well as the sharing our reports to the end users. So this is what we are going to do in the Power BI. So then we are going to work with the SQL. So within the SQL, we are going to work with so introduction to SQL, or like what are the different languages in the SQL. So sorting and filtering results in SQL, because as in data analyst, we require all these sorting and filtering options and very much required. And after this combination of multiple tables by using joins in SQL and writing the subqueries and building the functions by using the group by in SQL. And then we are also going to work with the different analytical functions like lag, last value, lead percentile count, right? So percentage rank. So these are all we are going to work on SQL. So these are very much needed for data analyst. And so we are going to cover which are all required for the data analyst in SQL, right? So SQL is a bigger subject. So within that, we are going to cover which are required for the data analyst course, right? So after this, modifying the data with SQL. So this is what we are going to cover in the SQL, and then we will finish with the store procedures and the indexes, which is very much important for the performance point of view and for creating some real-time business scenarios which are required to create the store procedures and the views, right? So we will finish out over with the SQL. So it will take 10 to 15 hours, as I told you yesterday. And then we will move on to Tableau. So once we finish till now, right? So we already discussed we can apply for the Power BI developer role. I will show you the different, what you can say, the job roles which are available. You can search within the Naukri, or like you can search within the internet on the Google as well, and you can find, right? So what are the job roles that are there for the Power BI developer? If I open this, right? So this is my, for example, if I go to Power BI developer, right? So Power BI developer jobs, like you have a plenty of jobs that are there. See, for example, you have so within the LinkedIn, you have a jobs within you have most of the companies they will hire from the LinkedIn, from the Naukri, from other platforms as well. So there are AMD careers, like they are Trabazo. So you can find n number of the packages will be range from, as I told you, the packages will be range from 7 to 13, 14 lakhs if you have an experience, or like gap if you want to go within 3 to 4 years or 3 to 5 years of experience. And in Naukri also you can see that. So there are, right, so there are 17,557, right? So if you see the 5 to 7 years of experience, so they are expecting, see, you can have, if you have like 20 to 35 is also there. And you can also go with the filterization of the salary package if you have like 3 to 6 years of experience, and you can see salary disclosed, salary not disclosed. So you can get, see, so this is a 2 to 7 years of experience, like you can expect from 4 to 9. And the same way, if you see, this is a 2 to 3 years of experience, like this is the salary package ranging from 3 lakhs to 8 lakhs, right? So it is ranging from 2 to 3, right? So based on your knowledge and based on your capability, it will differ. So 3 to 7 years, again, you have like 5 to 10 lakhs package, right? So overall, I can say like there are very, very good companies. Siemens is also one of the MNC, very good MNC you can look for. There are a lot of MNCs hiring for a Power BI developer. So now actually there is some recession happened in the last 6 years, 6 months back to last month. So now like everybody getting the calls and everybody's placing as a Power BI developer, right? So once we finish this two, Power BI and SQL, so you can start applying for uh, Power BI developer role. So these are all the Power BI developer roles. So once if I move to the next, right? So the Tableau. So in Tableau we are going to cover introduction to the Tableau and Tableau workflows. So within that, like we are going to cover with understanding the workflow of the Tableau, getting started with the Tableau file system. So what are the different types of extensions that are there, and creating different connectivity modes, like how to connect with the live data connection, and so how to edit the sources, how to modify the attributes. And so you can also use creating sets parameters, right? So where we are going to parameterize the data, right? So we are going to discuss most of the things and like which are required for the daily activities which are need to be performed in the organization, right? So after that we are going to create a connection to the data sources, then and then we are going to work with the slicing of the data and data with the time, and as well as the changing operations and aggregations and customizing the data calculations we are going to work on just like a DAX. So here we have a calculations within the Tableau, so we are going to work on the calculations also a part, right? So we will take a longer time on the calculations in Tableau as well. So finally, if you see, like we are going to see the distributions, mapping the data, dashboards and storytelling, right? So stories, creating stories and creating the dashboards. So we are going to work on Tableau for like more than 15 to 20 hours. So mostly it will finish by 18-20 hours, right? It hardly takes 18-20 hours. So once you finish this particular, we already finished SQL, right? So with the knowledge of SQL plus Tableau, you can also go for the role called as a Tableau developer, right? So you can also search for Tableau developer, and there are plenty of the roles that are there for the Tableau developer as well, right? So if I search for the Tableau developer, so you have a plenty of opportunities. Like if I have openings in HCL, TCS, Tech Mahindra, like see where like very, very big companies are hiring for the Tableau developer. And if you see the packages, if it is mentioned, so if it is a 4 to 7 years of experience, like they are mentioning from 7.5 to 16 lakhs, right? So yeah, this Tableau developer is also one of the alternative role if you want to start with, right? So once you have the knowledge on SQL and once you have a knowledge on databases and the Tableau, so then you can start applying for the second role. So this is what you can able to apply for once we finish the Tableau, right? So then if we move to the next part, like that is a Python. So within the Python, we are going to see introduction to the Python, how to install a Python and how to install an IDE, how to use with an like IDE, right? So we are going to work on that, and then we are going to work on the like how to work with the strings and how to work with the program flows, and so what is it, what is a list, what is a tuple, so what is a dictionary, what are the sets, like functions, like we are going to work with the different kind of functions. And finally, we are going to work with an data sets using the Python. So within the Python, we are going to work with the data sets, how to call a data set and how to work with the data frames, right? So we will see all those things. And finally, we will conclude our session with NumPy or a Pandas, like any one of the library we will finish, and we will conclude our Python over there. And after this, like we are going to cover the data analyst roles and responsibilities. So as what industry is expecting from you as a data analyst or a business analyst. So business analyst will require a subject like knowledge, subject matter over there. So we will like I will guide you how to get the subject knowledge, and so whichever the interest area you have. So you can go through and you can get some knowledge on the business analyst, and then you can start applying for the business analyst as well. So there are plenty of opportunities, like you can apply for Power BI developer, you can apply for Tableau developer, you can apply for business analyst, and you can also work on uh, data analyst, right? So anyways, this course is the first best for the data analyst. So these are all like real-time scenarios. We are going to mostly concentrate on the real-time scenarios, like what industry is expecting and what need to be done when once you join the company, and we will see the project related things as well. And like one real-time project, so we are going to not real-time actually, so I will give you a capstone project that is called as a capstone project, where you can work from end to end without interference or without help or support from my end. I will demonstrate the things, or like just I will give the draft what need to be done, and based on the understanding what you have understand, you need to create the project from end to end. And so after this, like as I told you, like our management will also support in the placement, right? So 100% placement assistance is there. So they will also assist you in the resume preparation, and they will also support you for the resume preparation as well. So these are all the things that we are going to cover. And in the first page, we have statistics. So within the statistics, we are going to cover the distribution, what is the mean, median. So this is the mathematical operations we are going to cover, and probability theory, and as well as the regressions we are going to cover. And within the advanced Excel, so we are going to cover the pivot tables, and as well as VLOOKUP, HLOOKUPs, and using the functions. There are different kind of Excel functions are there. So we are going to work with the Excel functions, and we will see different shortcuts which are required for our data cleaning, and as well as the formatting our data in the Excel as well. So these are the topics that we are going to cover for this course. And as I shown you, so these are the packages, and you can apply for the different roles. So we already seen for the Tableau developer and the Power BI developer, you can also apply for data analyst, right? So you can also apply for the data analyst. So if you see the data analyst, it's ranges from, like if it is have a 2 to 5 years of experience, like it is ranging from 4 to 7 lakhs of package. So it is differ to company. So for example, if you see 3 years, below 3 years, it has an package of 8.5, right? So there are good companies offering, see for example Airtel, right? So everybody knows the Airtel. So Airtel is also hiring a data analyst, right? So most of the MNCs are also hiring for data analyst as well as Tableau developer and Power BI developer. So if you start this course, right, so it will take at least 3 months to prepare everything. So after 2.5 months, or like after once we finish the Power BI and SQL, so you can start applying for the Power BI developer. And then once we finish the Tableau, so you can keep one resume for Power BI developer, and you can keep one resume for Tableau developer. So you can apply 2 different job roles. So once we finish the data analyst, you can keep one more resume for data analyst, and you can start applying for the data analyst role as well. So once we finish all this course, I will guide you, as I told, I will guide you for the business analyst role. So you can get, you can allot some more time from your calendar or a scheduler, and you can apply for the business analyst roles as well. So this is all about the things. Yesterday we didn't get enough time to show all those things, so that's why I am showing you this all the things, right? So this is all about the course. So now we are good to go. So we will start with the course today. So we will understand what are the different things that we are look at it today, right? So what I will discuss, or what we are going to cover in this particular first day of session is, so I can go with the basics of data analysis, because it is the basics of data analytics, or basics of data analysis. right? So, but I am not going to cover only the data analysis part or data analyst roles, because if I go with only the data analysis, right, so it will be bored for you, because the entire thing about the data or fundamentals of data analysis will be the theory, right? So I don't want to cover only theory on the first day of the session. So that's why what we will do. So just in the introduction, I will cover some bit of fundamentals of data analysis, and then from there we are going to the next part. So next part is nothing but like I will introduce the Power BI, and I will show the Power BI interface and what we are going to work on Power BI. So these are the things that we are going to cover for today, right? So we will cover some basics of data analysis, and then we will move to the Power BI part to see the practical things of Power BI, and to show the some demonstration, and to show some interfaces, and what are the tools that are going to work on. Okay, so for this, what I am going to do, so just let me open the notepad first. So we will start with today data, right? So as I told you, we are going to start with the data. So data analysis, fundamentals of data analysis, right? So data analysis. So within the data analysis, so we will also need to understand. So before going to start with the what is data analysis, we need to understand what is a data, right? So can anybody answer this question? What is a data? What do you know about the data? So you can use the chart, or yeah, so mostly you can use the chart to answer this question. So what is a data? So what do you know about the data? Okay. So let me explain then. So let me give an idea from my end itself. So data is nothing but collection of some information, right? So collection of information. So basically, we can collect the information in the form of document. We can collect the information in the form of Excel, or we can collect the information in the form of relational databases. So there are different forms of the data, right? So we will see what are the different forms of the data, and what are the different types of data. And as a data analyst, or a data uh, uh, as a part of the data analytics, so which kind of data that we are going to work on. So we will see all those things. So collection of information, right? So collection of information is a data, right? So this is what the data is. So the data might be collected in the form of documents, in the form of PDFs, in the form of Excels or CSV. So there are different sources to store the data and to collect the data, right? A set or source of information to analyze. Yes, correct. That is 100% correct. Like that is a good answer, Teresa. So a data and information, right? So these are very, very important nowadays, because so most of the businesses are depending or relying on the data to take the decisions, right? So for example, if you go to any web application, or like if you use, for example, everybody using the mobile phones, right? So especially if you are using Android phones, right, or if you are using any Chrome browser or any other browser, so you might be seeing one kind of a scenario, right? So whenever you opened any mobile application, or whenever you opened any website such as Mintra, Amazon, or like Flipkart, right? So you might be interested on some particular product, right? So you might be browsing for a mobile phone, or you might be browsing for a sneakers, right? So whichever the product that you are browsing a lot, right? So whichever the product you are browsing, so the same product might be appeared while you are going through another website, right? So it might be a news website, there might be a different website, right? So just you are googling something somewhere in the website, you found the whatever you searched in the Mintra, or whatever you searched in the Amazon, the same product will be appear as an advertisement for you, right? So how you are getting this kind of advertisement, right? So they are analyzing you. So whatever you are browsing, whatever you are spending patterns, so where you are spending, what you are spending, right? So for every other company, data is an asset. Data is a bigger asset in nowadays, right? So they will collect the data from the different platforms, like so they will collect the data from mobile phones, they will collect the data from uh, web applications, they will also collect the data from offline, right? So there are different ways to collect the data, right? So they will collect the data, and they will identify the customer trend spending behavior, like so where he's spending, like how much he's spending, and so when he's spending the more, right? So these things company are wanting, right? So companies need this kind of information to get to know more about their company, right? So if they know, so which customers are wanting what, right? So for example, if you look at the recent times, right? So Royal Enfield has completely, the bike company, the Royal Enfield bike company has been completely changed its portfolio. So now they are coming up with lots of bikes, because so they have been analyzed that, yeah, so youth is wanting a different segment of business with different segments of bikes, right? So that's why they are coming up with the different bikes. And so there are a lot of scenarios where we will discuss all the scenarios. So which company is following which kind of strategy to attract the customers, or like which kind of company is making which kind of offers, or which kind of uh, attention to get the attention from the customers, right? So they are doing gimmicks, or they are doing a lot of things to attract you, right? So there might be, that might be an advertisement, that might be an offer, that might be an getting to know about yourself, right? So they are getting to know about the customers, and uh, they are understanding about yourself, and they are offering whatever you want, right? So this is very important for a company, as a company, especially nowadays, like the competition is heavy from the competitors and as well as the peers. So definitely they should be there, they should know everything about their customers and as well as the market, right? So that's why there are different ways to collect the data, right? So we will see it in the sessions, in the upcoming sessions, right? So we will discuss a lot of things in the upcoming sessions as well. For now, so as I told you, so data is the collection of information which is very much required for the analysis part. So as a data analyst, you need to think in such a way that, so data is required to take the business decisions, right? So to give the business insights, right? So by going through the data, right? So by going through the data, you have to find, so what is the insights of a business. So you should able to give the insights of a business by going through the data, right? So as we know that data is a collection of information, so as a data analyst, what you are going to do with the data, so you are going to provide insights for an organization, right? So a company, so definitely depends on you to get the insights. So once they have the insights, so they will take the decision based on it. So decision making will be depend upon your uh, work, right? So whatever the work you have done, so based on that work, they are going to take a decision. So definitely you have the particular insights have a value. So if the insights have a value, so definitely as a resource, you have some value for the decision making, right? So this is what a data analyst is doing. So data analyst is going and getting some insights from the data, so which these insights will help us to help businesses to take a decision, and this will also give a value for the company as well. So when the company is valued from your work, so definitely you are also valued, right? So data analyst or like is like a journey. So you have to work with the data, right? So technically you need to work with the data like every day. So you have to work with the data, you have to understand with the data, you have to work with the different kinds of the systems, right? So different kinds of the data, right? So you have to get the data from Excel, you have to get from the CSVs, JSON files, XML files, or it might be a log files. Sometimes you need to get the data from SQL and relational databases, non-relational databases, and also semi-structured data, right? So we need to work on the different forms of the data, right? So we need to collect the data, and we need to transform the data, and we need to create the reports, right? So this is the journey starts as a data analyst, okay? And if you look at the clear picture, so why as a data analyst, what we are, the final product of your work, right? So the final product of your work is as a data analyst. So you need to provide, so the insights, the how you are going to provide the insights. So you are going to provide the insights by storytelling, right? So the storytelling concept is nothing but you are going to create dashboard, you are going to create a story, you are going to create a report, right? So these reports as well as the dashboards and the stories, whichever it is, so you are going to tell a story using what? Using reports, right? So dashboards, and as well as the stories, right? So these are the final products that you are going to create. So as a data analyst, for creating these reports, dashboards, and stories, you have to do and you have to work with the data a lot, right? So once you know, right? So once we get to know about the data, once we know about how to work with the data, right? So it is not a big deal to create a story or creating a report or creating a dashboard. But before going to create a report, we need to do a lot of things, right? So we need to know what is the connectivity modes, like how the data sources will work. And so what are the different connectivity modes to get the data and which is the best performance way. And we also have to work on creating a modeling, cleaning the data, transforming the data, and converting the data into a meaningful way, right? So it will take a lot of time to make understand of or creating all these things. Like creating reports is not a big deal, but so the work before creating reports is a bigger deal in a data analyst course, in a data analyst especially, right? So in the role of data analyst. So this is what the data analyst has to do. As I told you, I'm not going to spend a much time on the data analysis, like what is the technical aspects of the data analyst and all, right? So we will see the theory part till here, right? So we will stop the theory session here. So we will continue the fundamentals of data analysis in the next session, right? So anyways, I don't want to cover the only theory session for today. So just I want to show you some meaningful things and as well as which makes you interesting for the session as well. So this is all about the data analyst, the fundamentals of the data analyst for today. So we will continue this topic tomorrow, right? So the tomorrow also I will spend half an hour of time for the fundamentals of the data analysis. So then we will move on to the Power BI, right? So anyways, as I told you, so I am going to work on Power BI, right? In the beginning itself, right? So because it is going to benefit you to apply for the Power BI developer role, right? So that's why what we will do. So just I will show you how to install Power BI within your machine. So once you are familiar, so once you install the Power BI, right? So you can go through the interface and you can explore Power BI today and tomorrow, right? So how to install Power BI? So for installing the Power BI in your machine, right? So your machine should be a Windows machine, nothing but Mac OS, right? So MacBooks will not permit the Power BI to be installed on your machine. So that's why you need to have the Power BI, right? So to install the Power BI, we need to have a Windows machine. So I'm opening the Microsoft Store. So you can see this is a Microsoft Store. So if you are using Windows 10 or 11, right? So greater than 10, right? So you can see this Microsoft Store in your Microsoft Store application in your machine, nothing but in your laptop or in your local machine. So here you need to search for the Power BI desktop. So you can see this is a Power BI desktop. So once you search for the Power BI desktop, so it is already installed on my machine. That's why it is showing up the open up, right? So in your case, it will show as get, right? So it will show as get. So here you will get a get option. So once you click on the get, so just like installing an application within your mobile phone. So just like here also we are installing an application from the store, right? So if you are not using Windows 11 or like Windows 10, right? So you want to install it from the web application, right? So you can also use Power BI download, right? So Power BI download desktop, if you can search directly, you can search for the Power BI download. So download, you can go through this download page. I will share the link in the chat. So where you have a lot of things to download here. So you have a Power BI desktop, you have a Power BI mobile, Power BI Microsoft on-premises data gateway, and on-premises reporting with the Power BI report server, and the finally report builder. So in this, we need to download the desktop. So that's what you can directly go with the, it is referring to the Microsoft Store. Anyways, I don't want it. So if you click on this, so you will be landed into this page, right? So from here, you can choose the language, in which language you want to download. Okay. So if you click on the download, it will go for either you need a 64-bit or a 34-bit. So if you know about your machine, nothing but your Windows machine, right? So if it is a 64-bit, mostly Windows 11 and Windows 10 are 64-bit only, right? So you can download for 64-bit. So if not, your machine is not a 64-bit machine or nothing but your Windows is not 64-bit, so then you can download for the 32-bit as well, right? So I preferably ask you to download the 64-bit because it is much faster when compared to 32-bit. So download it. So once it start download, right, so you need to click on next, and install. So go with the default settings. There is no other specific settings to be shown over there. So go with the default settings and install this Power BI desktop on your laptop, right? So once you install this Power BI, so you can see the software has to be installed. This is the Power BI desktop, right? So you can use the Power BI desktop for free without having any license or without having any trial period. You can use n number of days this Power BI desktop. But to work with the Power BI service, right? So service is a web platform where we are going to work for collaboration and all, as I told you. To work on the Power BI service, we need to have a license, but using Power BI desktop is absolutely free. You don't require any penny of rupee to spend to work on the Power BI desktop file, right? So try to install this on your local machine today, right? So try to explore. So I'm going to introduce the interface today, and I will explain you what are the things are there within the Power BI desktop and what we can do with the Power BI desktop. So we will cover all those things today, right? So whatever we covered today, so try to explore from your end as well. So this is what the assignment. So as I told you, so once we finish the class for every 1 hour, so try to spend at least, right? So anyways, this is initial classes. You don't require to spend that much of time for like 2 hours, 3 hours. But once we are into the topics, the technical concepts, so you need to spend at least for every 1 hour, you need to spend for 2 hours of practice, and as well as for learning some more things from your end, right? So anyways, we come to the Power BI desktop interface. So this is the Power BI desktop interface. So if you look at this particular interface, right? So it is looking like another Microsoft tools. It might be looking like an Excel or Word or like a PPT, right? So it is looking like that, okay? And you can see these are called as a ribbon. So just like we are also calling it as an Excel. So there is a home ribbon, insert ribbon, modeling, view, optimize, help, and the external tools, right? So we are going to work on all the things in the upcoming sessions, right? So we are going to cover all the features and the capabilities of Power BI desktop file, Power BI desktop, right? So we are going to experiment every other features that is there, right? So within that, like this is the data, right? So if you want to get the data and if you want to work with the data, so this is the pane that is related to the data, and you have the transform and query. So for cleaning purposes and for refreshing your data, so we need to use this particular pane. And then you have insert option. So within the insert, if you want to insert any new visual or a text box, or if you want to get more visuals, you can use this. And there is some DAX related. If you want to create any new measure or a quick measure, or if you want to apply any sensitive labels, or once you finish the report, you can publish the report from here itself, right? So these are the options that are there in the home. Anyways, I don't want to explain every other thing here itself, right? So there are home, insert, modeling, view, optimize, and help. These are the different ribbons that are there, right? And if I come to down here, so if you look at this, so there are 3 different views. So these are called view, right? So this is called as a report view. So when you are in a report view, you can see the canvas. So this is called as a canvas. So canvas is a place where you are going to create the report, right? So this is a canvas. So whenever you are on a report view, you can see the canvas. So canvas is for creating the reports. And this is called as a table view. So whenever you click on the table view, you can view the data, but I don't have any data now, right? So that's why I cannot able to view any data here. But yeah, so if you have a data, you can view the data, or you can preview the data from here in the table view. And we have a last view that is called as a model view. So within the model view here, we are going to have a metadata of your tables. Is nothing but metadata is nothing but the table names and the column names within the table. So, and the relationship between them. So here we are going to work with the relationship, how to create a relationship, how to manage the relationship, how to edit a relationship, how to delete a relationship. So these are the things we can perform in the model view. So this model view will help you to create a model and to work with the model, right? So this is what you can expect from the model view. And after this, within the model view, you have a properties pane where you can change the properties and where you can assign some properties. You can configure the properties to the table and as well as the columns, right? So we can work with the properties within the model view. So these are all the views that are there here. So this is a report view, this is a table view, and this is a model view. So try to install this Power BI desktop on your machine today and try to explore whatever I am explaining today. Try to explore from your end as well, right? And if you come to the right side, if you see here, there is a right side. So this is called as a data pane. So once you load the data, see there is no data here. So that's why it is not showing up the any data into this particular place. But once you load the data, you can see, so the metadata again, so the table name, within the table, the columns, the table name and the column names, the table name and the column names. So you can see all the table names and the column within the tables you have a columns, right? So tables and within that columns, tables within that columns, right? So you can see all the table names and the column names in the data pane. So this is called as a data pane. And after this, we have another pane that is called as visualization pane. So in the visualization pane, you have two subsections. There is a fields and there is a formatting pane. So this is called as a formatting pane and this is called as a fields pane. So in the fields, you can see the fields. So these are the fields that we are discussing about. And these are the visuals. So these are the default visuals that we have in the Power BI desktop, right? So we can also get the data. We can also get the visuals. Thousands of visuals are there in the marketplace. We can also bring some custom visuals called as custom visuals from the marketplace. So we will see all those things while we are creating the report for now. So we can use all these visuals into our canvas for creating the report, right? So this is all about the visualization pane. And there is another thing called as a formatting pane. So where you can format your page, format your visual, format your entire page, or like some bunch of visuals. So for example, if you see this is a canvas settings, you can change this canvas. So this is the canvas that I told you, right? So you can change this canvas to 4.3 width type, and you can also convert into the letter type. You can also convert into the custom in which size you want, right? So you can convert this particular canvas into the size that you want, right? So we will see all those things while we are creating a report. And there is a pane called as filter pane. So where you can filter out the data within the visual, within the report, within the page, report page as well. So we will see all these things while we are creating the report. So these are the three different panes. So other than this, if you go to the view, so there is a bookmarks pane, there is a selection pane, performance analyzer pane, sync slicer pane. So these are the panes that are available. So, but these two are default. You cannot remove these two, the visualization pane and the data pane, but you can remove these things. If you want, you can keep it on the interface, or if you don't want, you can remove this, right? So performance analyzer, visualization is not possible to remove, but you can also remove the filters pane, right? So this is called as a filters pane. Okay. So this is all about the interface of Power BI desktop. And there is another thing, right? So this is called as the layout. So we are in a web layout. So you can see this is a desktop icon. So this desktop icon will be called as a web layout, and this is called as a mobile layout. If I click on the mobile layout, so this will be converted into the mobile layout. You can create the reports for the mobile layout as well, right? So it doesn't guarantee that. So whatever the report that you created, that must be consumed in the web, right? So some people might go install a mobile application, and they want to consume the report, or they want to view the report within the mobile, right? So then you need to create the report modifications to the alignment of the mobile as well. So we need to give some alignments, and we need to work on the mobile layout as well. So report consumption, right? So consumption is nothing but usage. So the end user might use the reports from the mobile or from the web, right? So we should create both of them. So based on our requirement. So if some some users are using from the mobile. So definitely we need to align for the mobile as well. So if everybody is using within the web, so definitely you can only work on the web, right? So we will see how to align within the web layout, how to align the mobile layout. We will see all these things in the future sessions, but for today, so this is all about. And if I move to the home page and if I click on the transform, so there is an inbuilt tool within the Power BI desktop. So that is called as Power Query Editor, right? So this Power Query Editor is called as an ETL tool. So ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load. So where we are going to clean the data, where we are going to transform the data by using the Power Query Editor. But yeah, so there is an inbuilt tool, there is an inbuilt technology or a feature within the Power BI desktop that is called as a Power Query Editor. So the capabilities of Power Query Editor are completely different when compared to the Power BI desktop, right? So while we are creating or while we are transforming the data, while we are cleaning the data, right? So we will get to know what are the different capabilities for a Power Query Editor, and we will understand what are the different capabilities of the Power Query Editor as well, right? So we will see the Power Query Editor while we are working on the cleaning on the transforming data part. So for now, so this is the another tool that is there within the Power BI desktop. So this is all about the Power BI desktop interface. So there are a lot of, see again, you have some ribbons within the Power Query Editor. So that is home ribbon, transform ribbon, add column ribbon, view ribbon, tools and help, right? So we are going to work with most of the features that are there in the Power Query Editor as well, and we will try to understand the features of Power Query Editor and how and what is the need of Power Query Editor and how it is going to help for the data analysis and how it is going to convert the data into a meaningful form of the data, right? So a raw data will be converted into a meaningful form of the data by using the Power Query Editor, right? So this is whatever we are discussing about. This is a glimpse of what we are going to discuss in the future upcoming sessions, right? So this is just an introduction. So this is the interface introduction for you, right? So you can install this software on your machine, right? So once you install, so you can see there is an welcome page popping up. Welcome page will pop up. So you can close that welcome page. Once you close that welcome page, you can see this kind of interface, and within the interface you can find all these options that we discussed, right? I hope you understand everything. If you have any doubts, so you can ask me. So meanwhile, I will show you one more thing that is called as options and settings, right? So this is options and settings will also very important, right? So we will see what is options and settings. So there are two different kinds of options and settings to for our Power BI files. So there is a called as one segment is called as a global and one segment is called as a current, right? So we will see what is a, like, I will let you know what is a global settings and what is a current file settings. So global settings is nothing but, so whenever you change any settings or whenever you change any configuration for this particular global, so this particular settings will be applied for all the Power BI files which are being stored in your local machine. So once you open that file, so whatever the change settings will be applied to that file as well. But if you don't want to do that, so the changing should, whatever the changes that should happen to your file, that should happen to only for the current file. So then you can go with this option. So current file is nothing but the file that you are working on. So if you made any changes or if you made any changes in the settings, so that would reflect only in the current working file. It will not reflect in the entire files, right? So this is what the options and settings. We will see these options and settings when the time requires, right? So when data loading, when we are loading the data into the Power BI, and when we are working with the Power Query Editor, and when we are working with the modeling, right? So we are going to see these options and settings when the time arrives. But so there is an options and settings within the interface as well, right? So, and after this, you can also see there is some settings called as, like, you can save this file, you can save as this file, and you can share it, you can get the data from here, you can import, export, and the get started, right? So if I click on the get started, you can see this is the page, getting started page. And you can see these are the files, right? So you are seeing the files that are created for my previous batches and for my projects as well. So this is all the different files that are there on my machine, and recently I worked on this particular files as well. Okay, so this is all about the interface of the Power BI. I hope it is clear from my end, right? So I hope you understand it. So if you have any doubts, you can ask the doubts now, and so once we clear the doubts, then we will have a discussion, right? So we will have a discussion and we will wind up the session for today. Any doubts on what we discussed today? Yeah, so as I discussed yesterday itself, right? So once we finish the once we finish the Power BI, you can apply for the PL 300 certification, which is from the Microsoft. And so once we finish the Tableau, you can apply for the Tableau Specialist certification, that is also there. And after that, yeah, so those are the two certifications you can apply, and you can, yeah, those are the two certifications. Any other doubts? Yeah, you can register the course for today itself, right? Uh, yeah, so this course is going to start. Anyways, we started this course, right? So yesterday was a demo class. So today I started with the technical concepts. So tomorrow we will start working on the Power BI. So tomorrow is the last demo session. Like you can from the day after tomorrow, like you can join only for tomorrow, right? So if you want to join for the day after tomorrow, right? So definitely you need to register for the course. So then only you can able to join. Yeah, so I will provide the materials and as well as the use cases and as well as the scenarios which are required for understanding the Power BI, understanding the Tableau and SQL. And I will give you the assignments where you need to start working on the assignments. Any other questions you have? Yeah, we will have the access for the recordings once you register for this course. Okay, great. Any other doubts you have? In my case, I live in France. At the time course starts, yeah. So the course will start at the same time. So that is 9 p.m. IST. If there is any change in the time, so we will let you know for you. Right. So the course will start from 9 p.m. IST, and it will be the duration of 1 hour. So every day we will have a session of 1 hour. Yeah, so tomorrow we will get the link for the enrollment. So tomorrow is the last day for the demo classes. So if you want to join for the day after tomorrow class, right? So definitely you need to register for the course, and you can connect to the management, Kalyan, right? So Kalyan is the admin for this. So you can contact Kalyan and you can get registered for that course, right? So you can discuss if you have any any questions related to the course fee structure and the payment modes. So you can connect to Kalyan and you can clear your doubts from the Kalyan itself. Any other doubts you have? Yes, tell me. So what is the doubt? Mine. You can drop a message in the chat. Otherwise, you can unmute and you can ask the doubt.
Sir? Sir?
You are audible.
Hello, sir?
Yes, you are audible, Ismail.
Sir, what is decision making, sir? What did you, sir?
So decision making, right? So basically, decision making is nothing but take a decision on some particular product, or like if you want to take a decision on your business, right? So for example, so based on the insights that you are giving, right? So for example, you are giving some insights about your company, right? So for this product is going to have a very high demand in this particular month. So definitely what decision you need to take? So you need to increase the production and you need to be cope up with the demand, right? So if as a data analyst, I told to my business manager or like business analyst that so this month we are going to expect a lot of demand for this particular product. So as a business analyst, they need to take a decision and they need to increase the production and they need to keep the products for the demand. So this is what the decision. This is one of the example for decision making.
Sir, now instead of Power BI, sir, which version you used to, sir?
Sorry, which?
Insert Power BI, sir.
Uh-huh.
Like 64, which one, sir? 64 or like 32?
Yeah, so there are two different Power BI versions, right? So they're like exe files. You have 32-bit and 64-bit. So mostly Windows machines nowadays are coming up with a 64-bit. But if your Windows machine is only 32-bit Windows machine, then install 32-bit. Otherwise, like install the 64-bit exe file.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so during this course, we are going to work on the project from end to end, right? And I'm also providing one capstone project where you are going to work on yourself, right? So nobody will give the support for you. But so as a training course, we are going to start working on one of the project, right? So then I will give you a one capstone project once we finish this course. So any other questions? Okay. So if you don't have any questions for me, so then we will wind up the session for today, right? So thanks for being on the session. So if you have any other doubts, you can contact to Kalyan and you can clear your doubts over there. And if you have any questions related to fee structure, or if you have any questions related to the payment modes, right? So you can connect to Kalyan and you can sort it out over there. And so if you have any registration related questions, also you can contact to Kalyan and you can get it resolved over from the Kalyan, right? So yeah, that's it from my end. So if you have any technical doubt, no, like so once we finish with the Power BI, so then we will go with an SQL course. It is not a promotion, basically. Like from day after tomorrow, we are going to start working on. Anyways, we are already started working on Power BI. So from tomorrow, we are going to work on the technical aspects, and we will start working on the Power BI, and we will see the all technical aspects of the Power BI. Yeah, so you can connect with Kalyan now itself. There is no problem. He's available. I think now he's available. So you can connect with the Kalyan now itself if you have any queries related to other than technical aspects, and you can clear the doubts from Kalyan and you can register for the course. Okay. So thanks for bearing me for this session, and thanks for being on the session, and have a nice day. We will meet tomorrow on the same time. Thank you.